Back out here walking. Where's my 50s and over? 50 and over. Them 70s and 60s, babies. How you doing today? What about my 40 and under? Hey, y'all gonna be next. Y'all need to be walking and exercising, because you'll be amazed how your body changes rapidly. If you don't start introducing exercise in your lifestyle and changing your eating habit, you'll be amazed how it affects your health. How it affects your health. Yeah. So I advise you guys to get a routine, stick to it, try to walk at least 30 minutes a day, at least. Get it in. But I like to do miles. I like to do anywhere from 3 to 5 miles a day. I see better result that way. Okay, what are we talking about today? Let's talk about conviction. Let's talk about when the Holy Ghost convicts you, and what does it mean, and what that says about you. Let's talk about that conviction. Hey, y'all. The word for today is conviction. When you were convicted in your own self, or the Holy Ghost convict you. So yesterday at work, I had a great day. The kids were awesome. It was good. It was good. I had a little behavior issues, but nothing that had me running out the building like stressed, like, oh, them kids. They were some beautiful angels yesterday. Yes. They was my angels yesterday. I had little treats for them. They got little popsicles. They was like, oh, Miss Cox, I was good. I was like, absolutely. You guys were great today. So on my way, leaving work, this is like me leaving out the building. And, school's usually out at 3 o'clock. And I had an appointment yesterday that was at 3:15, and it was excuse me, it was such an important appointment, I couldn't miss it, and I had to be there. And from my job, it was about a 40-minute drive. So at the end of the day, what we do, we get our children together and we prepare them for dismissal. And I work with elementary children, so therefore you have bus riders and car riders and APAC and after school care and walker. So if you understand, you in elementary, you know that there's a preparation for dismissal at the end of the day, because you got to get these kids on the right bus, get them where they need to be. So I got my kids together and I set them all up and everything. But I noticed, like, usually the kids are usually gone about 3:30. They're usually on the bus or, in that transition state on the way out. And I looked at my watch and it was 2:30, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late to this appointment. I gotta go to this appointment. And so I went to my lead teacher and I said, hey, I have a very important appointment today that I cannot miss. I was like, my kids are all in place. They're all lined up and ready to go to get on the bus. I said, but I have to leave because I have this very important appointment. And so she was like, okay, Miss Cox, I just have to call somebody to come help with these kids. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have to go. And she was like, okay. So on my way out, I grabbed my belongings and I went to the office to go check out and everything, clock out. And as I was clocking out, one of the young lady in the office that works in the office came to me and she said, Miss Cox, where were you working for today? And I was like, I don't even remember her name. I said, but I was like, I think it started with a W. I was like, I'm not sure. Good morning. I was like, I'm not sure. And everything. She was like, well, the reason why I'm asking is because I have a job for you. And I just cut her so short. Like, I cut her so short like a razor. And I was like, I am so sorry. I was like, I have to go. I have somewhere that I need to be at. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just gotta go. And I cut her so sharp, And as I was like running out of the building, I looked back and she was looking at me so startled. And I was like, I was so caught up in the time, what time I had to be there. Like, I was so self-centered. I was so caught up within my own stuff that I didn't even have time to even try to listen to what this young lady was trying to say to me. But I left. And as I was driving and everything, the Holy Ghost prompted my spirit. He was like, you got to check yourself. And I was like, check myself? How I got to check myself? I'm saying to myself. And he said, you got some personal flaws that you need to work on. And I was like, wow, okay. And I thought about it. And he started showing me like routines or, how often when someone is trying to tell me something or talk to me, and when I'm in a rush or, it's like I cut them really short. I don't even give them the opportunity. And you never know if that's God's blessing coming your way. You don't know if you're cutting off God's blessing. So I sat there and I started to drive and I started to wonder and I started thinking a different time that someone has tried to come to me and say something to me, how my reaction is so sharp. And so I was like, yeah, I gotta work on this. So I was driving, I decided to call my cousin. And I was like, this cousin, he's a real close cousin of mine, so we talk about everything. And so I told him, I said, hey, I need your opinion. And I shared my experience with him. And I said, I need you to be honest about me. I said, I feel like I have a personal habit that I have to work on. And can you I want to talk about it. I want to hear your true. I said, I want to hear your true opinion. Good morning. About what do you think about it? And he said, well, I was like, you right. I'm glad you got conviction in that because you got a real bad habit of doing that. He was like, when people trying to talk to you, you're real defensive and you're so quick to shut people down when it's something that you don't want to hear, or if it's not going your way, you out the door. And I was like, oh, that is a bratty syndrome. Ooh. That means I'm a brat. That is a bratty syndrome. And he said, well, the good thing about it is that only you could fix that. And only you could work on that. He said, but the good thing about it is that you recognize it. And now that you have recognized it, now you can work on it, or you can be conscious mind. Maybe you need to be slower to reaction, whatever that you need to do. You need to maybe start operating in it. And I was like, yeah, you right. And as I got off the phone with him, I still felt bad. I was like, Lord, like this thing hitting my spirit so bad. Like, I wanted to go back to the school and talk to the young lady and apologize for being so blunt and so short with her, and not allowing her to say what she needed to say to me. But I knew had I turned around or went back, I was going to be late to my appointment, or I knew that she was going to be gone, because that was already the end of the day. It was 2:30 and the day ended 3 o'clock, so it wasn't no way. So that thing like stayed with me in my stomach, like it just like wounded my spirit. Oh my God, it just laid on my chest the whole day, the whole night. Like I thought about that interaction, and then I realized, oh, conviction. God is alive and operate in me. And that's how you know that God is alive and he operates in you. Because when you do something that's not nice, or rub somebody the wrong way, that thing will hold on you. It will grab you. It won't let you go. It'll mess up your whole day until you make it right. And then when you make it right, then you can go on. That's what conviction is. Conviction is operating in something bigger than you. Conviction is knowing when you are wrong and taking accountable action to correct that thing. Conviction is saying, hey, I gotta go and apologize to this individual that I heard it, or I gotta go apologize. Conviction is that thing that waking you up, that say, go make it right. It is that thing on the inside of you that's gonna shake you up to go make it right. I think that was a fly that almost flew on me. But anyway, that's what conviction is. It is that thing that say, go correct that. And as long as we can go and correct those things and take accountability for those things, then God is pleased with us. God is pleased with us. Because he's a God that knows you. He knows the inside and he knows the outside of you. But when you need to know if he's operating in you, there will be conviction upon you when you step out of line. So if you guys was kind of confused about how do you know when God is with you, or conviction. He will send the spirit of conviction upon you sometime. And it's a reminder that, hey, I'm walking with you. And that wasn't a godly thing that you do. But go back and make it right. That's when he said that my sheeps shall hear my voice, should know my voice. And that means that when you're a child of him, you will hear his voice. You will feel that spirit on the inside of you. It will awaken you up. Yeah. That's one way of knowing if you are in the right place. So, for those that's out there and you don't know exactly where you are with him, and you have did some wrong things and you have wronged some people and it doesn't sit right in your spirit, go make it right. Because it's not only just for them, it's for your salvation. It's for your deliverance. It's for you to move on and press on for the greater things. Because who to say? I don't know. That young lady was probably bringing me a blessing. She was probably bringing me a great blessing. And I blew blowed her off. I just shut her down because I didn't have the time to listen to her and to hear what she was trying to tell me. So, you don't know what you're leaving out there. You don't know if you're walking away from God's gifts. You don't know. Because you're not allowing Him to operate in you. Hey, yeah. Now go on and make this a great day. See y'all later.